Today's video is a follow-up to the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholder meeting video that I did. And this one is Warren Buffett is a liar. You heard that right. Warren Buffett is a liar. I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. If this is your first time to our channel or you haven't subscribed, be sure to click on the link at the bottom. Subscribe. My name is Travis Sickle, certified financial planner with Sickle Hunter Financial Advisors. The first lie that I'm going to talk about was a question that Warren Buffett was asked on the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Division, which is their real estate agency. And the question was, if you believe that fees on Wall Street should be lower than what they are today, then why haven't you done it for the real estate division? The fees on the real estate division are somewhere between 4 and 7%, depending on the size of the house. He comes back and answers this question and says the average price of a home that's sold through the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Division was right around $250,000. Well, I said this in the last video. I don't even know what the relevancy is to say that the value of the house, is $250,000, as if that's going to change anything. It's still 4 to 7% commission. It doesn't matter if it's $100,000 or $1 million. It doesn't matter. He goes on to say that the real estate agents are earning their commission because they have to sell or they have to show. He says that the real estate agents are earning their commissions as opposed to other industries where they're apparently not earning their commissions, that the real estate agents show their clients a bunch of houses and they're not guaranteed to make a sale. And that's the basis that he's going on. And I have a real big problem with this because to lump everybody on Wall Street together is ridiculous. To say that there's hedge funds out there making a ton of money, which is probably true, and there's CEOs making a ton of money. Not everybody on Wall Street is making millions on every single deal. But making those kinds of comments certainly makes people believe that fees are out of control. And then he says with the real estate agency that they're normal across the board with all real estate agents. So that somehow justifies that it should be okay that they can charge 4 to 7%. And I take 4 to 7% because that is the average, or that is the range of fees that real estate agents charge. I am not attacking the fact that real estate agents are charging 4 to 7%, but you can't say that one industry is corrupt and the other is not. They're both charging a commission in certain instances, but making those kinds of comments makes people go back and say, wait a second, what are the fees? Am I really being charged for what the service that I'm providing? Again, I've said this before. Warren Buffett says price is what you pay, value is what you get. So if someone's actually doing the work for you to figure out your financial situation, then they're earning their keep. They're earning the amount of money that they're being paid. And that's the same in real estate. It's just the nature of how the real estate industry is put together that you wouldn't want to charge somebody on an annual basis because there's no management past the sale of a house. You're not managing that house. Not to say there's no recourse. If you look at those contracts, there's no recourse for after you purchase the house. If the house falls apart, it's not the real estate agent's fault. Their only job is to show you the house. Whereas a financial advisor goes out and makes sure that you're not only set up correctly, but that you're continuously set up correctly because it's an ongoing process. No matter where you look, there's going to be people that do it right, that do it ethically, and there's going to be people that don't. So those are the kinds of people. I don't think it has to deal with the real estate agency side and Wall Street. I think you should take a little closer look at the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, or just say it differently. Saying, hey, we're making a bunch of money and we're in the business of making money. I mean, call it what it is. The second complete lie that Warren Buffett was talking about is his S&P 500 index investing. That he's saying that I'm going to direct my money when I'm gone, that it's going to be in the S&P 500, that he's going to leave his wife, and she's going to have plenty of money. This is a complete lie, and here's where it just unravels. One of the questions that was posed at the annual shareholder meeting that I talked about in the other video, the question was posed by somebody who works at Berkshire Hathaway and is an investor. Why don't we have it in our 401k? And he gives this really lame answer. He leaves it to the investment managers, he leaves it to the managers of each individual entity or a subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway, that they can go out and get whatever 401k they think is appropriate. But yet he's still making these recommendations for everybody that they should have access to an S&P 500 index, or that's where they should invest their dollars. That's a complete lie. And the reason it's a lie is not only is he's the CEO, but he's also a CEO that goes out and does investing. But he's not capable of going to the managers and saying, hey, wait a second, I'm going out and telling the world that we should have S&P 500 funds and we don't have it in our own portfolio. Not to mention, he's telling people that they should invest in the S&P 500, but yet that's a blanket recommendation. They're not looking at their individual situation. Maybe for them to meet their retirement needs, maybe they need to be more or less conservative to figure out what it's going to take for them to reach their financial goals. Somebody goes into the S&P 500 and then all of a sudden we have a 2008. Well, they're not Warren Buffett. They don't have a ton of money in the bank. So can they weather that storm? So there's a lot of misinformation. So I'm calling this one a lie. This is a complete lie that people should be invested in one particular way, one particular fashion. I think it's very, very misleading. And I think that should be positioned a completely different way for people to understand how they should invest. There's nothing wrong with the S&P 500. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the way that it's delivered, which is a complete lie, that he doesn't have the capability of first making sure people can be properly diversified and make sure that their cash flow and their income that they're going to receive is enough. He's missing the savings component in this delivery. So this is a complete lie on the way that you should invest, because he doesn't invest like that. He has a ton of cash. He's not telling you that you shouldn't have a ton of cash. I don't hear him saying that. All I hear is the S&P 500 fund. Complete lie. The third and last lie that I'm going to talk about is not looking at anything else except the S&P 500 index funds. And that's missing out on China. That China could at some point be a bigger economy than the US, and all these great things that they're doing. And to say that we're not even going to look at it because, hey, take the easy way out, just invest in the S&P 500 fund and just be done with it. I don't think that's a good way to look at it. I don't think that's a good way to look at investing, and he doesn't invest like that. Sure, he's going to leave his wife this S&P 500 fund, but let's be honest here. That's way more money. So no matter what the S&P 500 does, there's probably enough money there. So he doesn't have to take that risk, and I think that is what's missing from this argument and this blanket recommendation yet again. So it's a complete and utter lie to think that you can just go out and invest in the S&P 500 and completely ignore China. So Charlie Munger even says it, no, you should look at China. This is ridiculous. I mean, yeah, you should look at it. So I don't think that there's an easy button in this one. And so I'm calling this one a complete lie, because he's not just looking at China, and neither, to say that everybody should not look at China, that's crazy. To say that everyone should not look at China, that's just crazy. It's gonna work for some people in their investment portfolios. Not everybody. Again, it's not a blanket recommendation. That's why you need to look at your particular situation. Again, it's very misleading.